Hey guys, so we are finally here for the first Wifey for Lifey Q&A on my new YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I asked you guys under this picture questions that you had about marriage and dating and my love story, because these are things that I just love to talk about in general these days. And so I'm super excited. I have my phone here, and so I'm going to go ahead and go through your comments, and I'm going to go ahead and go through your questions and answer those for you. So let's get started. All right, so Tine24 says, hello. Firstly, I would like to say thank you for creating this group platform to talk about marriage, because for too long, marriage has been viewed as a death sentence, no freedom, and just plain not attractive. But I still believe in the institution of marriage, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I am single, but I'm looking to be married one day. But my question is, do you believe that the chase should be solely left to men? I mean, in today's society, women are told to go after what I want. Make the first move. But I'm old school, and I think that's not necessary. But on the other hand, men are not chasing me down for dates. Your thoughts? Thank you again. That is an absolutely wonderful question. So here's my answer. I don't care how society changes. I don't care what new wave comes about. I am not a follower, I'm a leader. And as you get serious into your relationship that leads up to marriage, it's nothing wrong with showing your significant other that you love them, treating them every now and then, and just showing them, hey, I appreciate that you've been a good partner to me. But when you're talking about just starting out the dating process, I just don't feel like women should be chasing. It looks pathetic. It looks like you're desperate. And women are the prize. This is my opinion. A lot of men will tell you they are the prize, but that's not biblical. And everything that I believe in regards to love and relationships, I try to put it in a biblical perspective for myself, because it works for me. That's why my marriage is successful. That's why I'm happy. And while nothing will ever be perfect, I believe me and my husband are on the same page. So I think what you have to do is find a man that is on your same page, meaning he believes that you are the prize. Now, of course, in order to be viewed as the prize, you actually have to be a prize. I think it's important for women to take an introspective look at ourselves and make sure that we are on point as well. Are there any self-esteem issues we need to deal with? Do you have baggage? Do you need to work on your body? Do you need to work on your appearance? Do you need to work on things that will help you as far as being chaste? I think that women are delusional if they don't think that you have to compete. Not compete with other women, but compete with yourself, being the best version of yourself. And so if you're going to say I'm the prize, you really need to be a prize. And a lot of women don't conduct themselves as such, and that's just facts. So I think that men should chase. There's nothing wrong with letting a man know you like him. You could be a little flirtatious. You could send those signals, girl. But at the end of the day, when it comes to meeting a man, he needs to make that first move of, yeah, I'm going to call you. I'm going to actually ask you out on a date and pursue you. Because here's the thing. If you start your relationship off like that, pursuing the man, you will find that it will be like that the whole relationship. He will be expecting you to chase him and to treat him as the female, when you should be treated as the girl, not the boy. So that's why I say, one of the major reasons why I say allow a man to chase. When you allow a man to chase, you're letting him walk in his natural instinct and who he is as a masculine man. And you are able to be a lady, and you're able to be feminine, and you're able to be able to operate in that femininity. And so women could do whatever they want. I don't really care. But for me, the man's gonna chase. End of story. Danny Ocam, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, well, first, I'm not a wife or even in a relationship. But how do you know when, if you should begin to settle down with someone? I've ended relationships because it doesn't feel right. Is that even a valid reason? Thanks in advance. Yes. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. Now, of course, you need to make sure that you're centered as a woman, that you're thinking logically, that you don't have unrealistic expectations for your relationship, that you're not super superficial, meaning like you're trying to have this fantasy of getting something from a man that you can't even get for yourself, or you have this fantasy that a man should look a certain way and do certain things or whatever. As long as you are reasonable about what you want from your relationship, meaning you want the best of the best, but you're not trying to uphold a man to standards that you can't even attain yourself. I think that's the key, and I think that's most important, is knowing that you know what God has for you, and knowing that you deserve the best, knowing that you are an asset and you're looking for another asset. And so I think that if it doesn't feel right as far as how he's treating you, talking to you, you just don't, you're not feeling him, well, maybe that's an indicator that this is not the man for you. But be careful with that, because many of women have passed over good men. Now they're 40 out here dating, trying to find a man when they should have married that man when they were 25, because he was a good catch. He was a good man. He pursued them. He chased them. But they didn't want that. They wanted to wait. Oh, I got time. I got time to have kids. I got time. We all don't have time. And so my message is, when you meet a good man, stop trying to pump the brakes on a relationship when this could be your destiny. This could be your key to staying at home with your kids or not working or whatever. This could be your key to being in love and to having a happy life, because men want their wives to be happy. And so I feel like a lot of women miss out because they're looking for something that they're probably never going to get. Next question is from Glorious Girl KG. Second question. Oh, she has two questions. Okay, so let me go with the first question first. My question is, what are your thoughts on how the church guides singles in dating/courtship? And do you feel there are some ways the church could improve when teaching on this topic? So yes, I feel the church has dropped the ball in a lot of ways. I grew up in the church. Just to give you some brief history of myself, my father is a minister. I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up in the church. I've gone through this whole thing with religion and figuring out why I believe what I believe and making sure I understand the roots of Christianity. And just, I went on that journey with myself. And what I can say is why I stopped going to traditional churches, meaning like I go to church and I believe everyone needs a church family. I don't go to church here in the Middle East because, you know, we haven't found one that we're comfortable with, that we think that we should be a part of. So right now we just use online resources. But hopefully I would hope that maybe one day I would, you know, be able to go back to church, because I miss going to church. I really do. But I think that churches miss the mark because they're not realistic on what it's like to date in today's society. I think we live in a very sex-driven, hook-up society. And because of that, we need ministers to come and say, hey, it's natural to want to have sex. It's natural to, you know, have that urge and that desire. God loves sex. He wants us to enjoy sex. If he didn't want us to enjoy sex, he wouldn't make it feel good. So I think that there's a taboo thing when it comes to sex and dating. But what I want to bring to the forefront is a lot of men will do a lot of things to get you into bed. There's work going on outside, so excuse that noise. It's like right across, they're building this new apartment building. But anyway, I don't know why men do that. I really don't. So because of that, I feel like, one, you have to take some time and keep sex out of a relationship. And I think that the church should talk about this more, about why. It's not to suppress you from enjoying sex. It's to suppress you from the heartache of being heartbroken. And so I think that churches need to talk more about what it's like to date in today's society, or how people view, you know, relationships in today's society. So I do think the church has missed the ball on that. And I think that women need to understand that it's your body and that you need to make good decisions for yourself when it comes to your womb. You shouldn't just be giving your womb to random people. And so I feel, even your boyfriend, that ain't your husband. So I feel like the church needs to talk more about dating. Stop saying pray for a husband. No, you need to get out here and actively date. Put yourself out here. I'm not saying be desperate, you know, cry every night in a corner because you ain't got a man. I'm saying we need to actively make relationships a priority in our life, and that's including dating. And so some churches are doing good, some churches not so much. Your second question, what is your advice to someone who started dating very late in life, like mid-20s, never been in a relationship, never kissed? How can they navigate dating as an adult when doing it for the first time? So here's the thing. I don't think late 20s is too late. You're still young. You're still vibrant. I would say if you're dating late, take care of yourself, take care of your body. I think these are things that a lot of women don't tell other women. And as a plus size woman, I'm just coming from a different box. I'm not saying you're plus size. I think in today's society, a lot of women say that being plus size is cool, it's great, men love us. And the reality is men will settle for certain women. I think that women should be able to control their destiny. So I think when you're dating late in life, you need to look your best. You need to carry yourself your best. You need to be articulate, learn how to speak well, learn how to network, learn how to get yourself out there to be around high quality, eligible men. I think you need to be confident in yourself, in your abilities. I think you need to walk in who you are as a woman. And I think that you need to just not be afraid. It's just men. Like, it's nothing to be afraid of. Keep dating light, keep dating fun. Don't make it more than what it is until it is that. So the next question is from Kai Pretty. Hey, what age do you think it is appropriate for a young woman to start dating and thinking about marriage? For me, this is my perspective. If I had a daughter, which I feel like I do have a daughter, I feel like I have many daughters. I talk to many of the young girls that I mentor about dating and about marriage and about sex, because these are things that are part of life and need to be talked about all the time. What I tell those young ladies who are like my daughter, I tell them to be smart about how they move in life. And I think that age is going to be subjective. I think 18 is way too young to be thinking about getting married. 20, 21, way too young. Even up to the age of 23, I think you should just be figuring out yourself and figuring out life. A lot of people will tell you to wait until you're 30 or until you're in your late 20s to think about marriage. I think that it depends on the person. I got married very young. I'm happy I got married very young. There is a reality to waiting to getting married. If you do a little dive into statistics and to see when men are getting married, it's easier for them to get married before the age of 25. But after they hit the age of like 26 to like 45-ish, they're really not interested in marriage. It's just statistics are revealing themselves that a lot of men are more hesitant to get married after they've reached that certain peak of the age of 25. And so because of that, I think a lot of women who were ready to get married, who are ready to be good mothers, who, you know, desire to have a career and maybe, you know, work from home or do all those things, I think a lot of women hold off marriage. And I think that could be the worst decision ever. So what I tell young girls is don't rush it. You have time. You're young. You're in your 20s. Once you start hitting the age of 23, 24, 25, if you meet a man who is a high quality man, who is a good prospect, who you can see through his actions has a lot of potential, you could be making the wrong decision if you say, no, I don't want to focus on a relationship. I'm just going to focus on my career and doing this and doing that and doing that. You might have passed up your chance to get married ever. And if marriage is something that's important to you, it's not important to all women. So if it's not important to you, it's just not important to you. But if getting married is important to you, I think that once you get into your mid-20s, that's the time to start really taking these men seriously through their actions, not through their mouth. So I think it just depends on the woman. Some women are very immature. Some men are very immature. I think it will depend on the situation and when you're ready. But when you're young, don't feel pressured to get married, especially if you're not financially stable, you're not emotionally stable, you have baggage. Work on all these things first and then focus on love. Next question is, hey there, I know you said you met your husband at school. How did it happen? Were you in the same classes? Okay, I met my husband at a friend's house. We had a mutual friend, and he was over there. I used to sing a lot, so I was on the choir, and we used to have these little singing groups, and we used to go over a friend's house sometimes, and we would sing, or we would hang out, or we would do whatever we were doing. And I met him, and honestly, you guys, the moment I met him, I was like, this man is going to be my man. So that's why when I tell you don't chase a man, I'm not saying don't show interest in a man, because I definitely showed my husband that I was interested in him. Like, I think I might even went up to him and just struck up a conversation, and we started talking, and we went back and forth with that. And I said, hey, yeah, here's my number, because the ball is in your court. So I'm not saying don't approach a man. I'm not saying don't spark up a conversation with a man. What I'm saying to you is, once you let a man know, hey, I'm interested in you, I think you're cute, I like your vibe, not actually saying that, but saying that with your body language or through how you interact with them, it's in their court to call. And so that's how we hooked up. I gave him my number after we had this conversation. I don't even know what the conversation was about, because I was so freaking smitten or whatever. But we had the conversation. I gave him my number. He didn't call the first couple days. And I remember running into him on campus, and I was like, I had just pledged Delta. I was feeling myself. I was like, oh, you didn't call me. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you, whatever. And I was like, okay, because that was like the last time that I was going to give him the note that I was feeling him. And so I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I went on about my business, because I had other guys that was liking me, and I wasn't pressed. And so, but I liked him. I was feeling him. And so he called, and we became inseparable. We just became inseparable, and we've been together ever since. I received this question, and I want to answer it because I think it is a very important question to answer. So this question is, I am not in the Wifey for Lifey group, but I have a question. Girl, join the Wifey for Lifey group, because we have a group of wives and single women in that group. We talk about sex, we talk about marriage, we talk about finances, we talk about a lot of different things that I think will be helpful as we navigate this thing called marriage. So that's that. When you get married, you leave your single friends alone, right? But if you ask someone not to call your husband under any order unless emergency, and they do otherwise, what does that mean other than totally disrespect for you and your marriage, right? So I first asked her, like, how does your friend have your man's number? And she said that it was a misjudgment on her part. So I don't know how the friends got the number or what happened that led up to that. But I will say this. None of my friends had my man's number. But let's just say one of them had his number. And I wouldn't mind that. Like, listen, if my husband decides to go off and cheat, that's his loss. I'm not going to be chasing him, begging him to stay with me. Okay? I don't have to do that. That's why women, really, we need to keep ourselves up. We need to watch our weight. We need to watch our skin. We need to let our husbands know that, we don't just think we're married and this is it, and we don't care how we look, and we're going to accept anything a man does to us because we're married. Like, it doesn't work like that. If he's taking the calls, if he's responding to the calls or the text or whatever the situation is, well, that's the issue. The issue is not with the other women. I don't care what another woman does. I don't care if a woman stripped her clothes off and stepped in front of my husband completely naked and tried to get with him. She's not my issue. She didn't take no vows with me. I didn't take vows with that woman, okay? She owes me nothing. My issue would be with my husband. What are you going to do, sir? Are you going to go ahead and ruin your prize, your good thing, by cheating on the woman that's been there for you, us being there for each other? Are you going to ruin your relationship by succumbing to something that you already have at home? Or are you going to stand up, be a man, and say, hey, this is not appropriate? So it's up to your man to decide that. I wasn't so much worried about the friends. If I had a friend and they called him and they continued to text him and I told them not to do that, then you need to cut off that friendship in a very nice way. You don't even have to be nasty. Don't make it seem like you pressed. Just tell that friend, I've asked you, not to text my husband. You continue to do it. So girl, we gotta chill. We gotta pump the brakes. Separate yourself or distance yourself from that friend. All right, you guys, that is all. I think I answered all the questions. If I missed your question, please leave it below. Join the Wifey for Lifey group if you need guidance with navigating your marriage. Marriage is not easy. Marriage requires strategy. It requires understanding how to communicate with your man so that you can get what you want out of the relationship and live your best life and always be the prize. All right, guys, so I will see you in my next video. Bye.